What's going on? Welcome to Totally Blitz Podcast. We're about to break down and recap UFC 303 Pereira versus Proshaka 2. It was a crazy ass weekend of combat sports. We had everything going on. But always, before we jump into this recap, go down, like, and subscribe. Comment your breakdown of this card, who you liked, who you didn't like, how you feel. If you want some money, we want to hear it. But I'm Paul. Pick 'em, win 'em, Concha. With the contacts now. And as always, I'm joined with.
Man, you already know it's your boy Kev, Water Boy, some boy. I'm out here trying to be a baller, you feel me? We taking it outside. But what I've learned after this weekend that I need to be active as much as I can, just for no reason, you feel me? So we back, we picking up. I said I'm gonna do something I've never done before. Be good at basketball. So
We get him.
it's a year process because people don't understand how bad I am at basketball. So it's gonna be a process, but we gonna get it done. So I'm starting off every at least being out at the court at least one day every week, 52 times this year.
That's what we like to hear. That's what, if y'all don't know. 2024 has been nothing but like success, growth, and health for the Totally Blitz crew. If y'all don't know,
Facts, facts. A lot of help too. A lot of help. People is taking care. We're taking great care of ourselves.
but man, UFC 303. I mean, we had everything. We honestly had some good fights. We had some quick fights. We had a couple pullouts in the last second, so we had drama. We had excitement. So like, I mean, I feel like UFC 303 really came with the shits.
Bro, UFC 303 feels like a soap opera to me. Like just the entire process. Cause and maybe it was the fact that we were in Miami at this weekend at the Tiafimo fight. So we had to watch everything like securely. Like I'm over here at the fight card, but we're watching. We have the Ian Gary versus Michael Venom Page fight up on the phones type. Like really trying to stay in tune. We watch Alex. Tiafimo's getting his hand raised while Alex is over here knocking out Jiri. So I'm like, oh, it really felt like a soap opera from beginning to end. Alex and Jiri coming to save the day after Connor had to pull out. The fights themselves were just battle tested. So many random pullouts, like the Brian Ortega pullout. The the one fight that was really supposed to be Jamal Hill and Cleo Roundtree that ended up being Anthony Smith and somebody else. Like it was just so much like confusion. I couldn't imagine what it felt like to be in the UFC front office, just sitting there thinking like, yo, bro, this is supposed to be one of our most important weeks of the year, international fight week, and all these motherfuckers is fucking shit up.
Yeah, no, but they definitely. I mean, they put a good card together. There was
Great.
a lot of decisions to start the card, but like it wasn't bullshit fights. I felt like it was a lot of like solid fights. It wasn't no like boring ass shit. Like even the one that started it, the Ricky Simon losing to Vinicius, like the two plus 200 underdog. He threw like a Ronaldo or Ronaldinho fucking some I can't remember what they called it. It was like a kick that you only see in soccer because it does no damage. It was like behind his leg, fucking kick to the shin, like this dance. I don't know, it was pretty dope, but like something you never fucking see. So like, I just felt like overall the card was exciting. Like you said, we were watching Teofimo live, but we definitely was tuned in for 303.
But 303 was a soap opera. It was a banger, and it just gave us the perfect. It was just a perfect. If you're like somebody that be in the MMA streets, this was a really good card because like me being in the streets, I like to hear the stuff before it goes down, and then when it happens, when it gets announced, I'm like, oh, he was right. So this is one of those I got to check my sources on a lot of stuff. This card, my sources are pretty accurate.
Yeah, that's the one thing I do regret is that we weren't on the live. Like I do love watching Tio live, but like we weren't on the live with Romeo because we as a unit was fucking. There was a long streak of like correct picks.
Oh my gosh, we would have been. Oh yeah, and the ones that we argued on, I won. So I was like, oh, I'm killing him. Gene Silva, I told you. I
Oh, the
told you
Green
Gene
Silver shit
Silva
was
was the truth.
beautiful.
Bro, I told him Gene Silva was the truth. He looked at me crazy. And then if Diego Lopez had beat Brian Ortega, I would have did a backflip
No, but then we had
in the middle of the dance.
we had the Japanese come over, another one of the prospects. He didn't get a finish, but I mean, he did exactly what we thought he was gonna do. One control time. He definitely doesn't look polished though. He is definitely not no Tatsu or Tayara type of like prospect. At least not yet.
Mm-hmm.
He looked good though.
We respect him. But then you got, what's it called? Andre Arlovsky and Martin Boudier. the battle of the oldest and
The
the fattest,
slop,
and I was
the
and
sloppy.
I
That shit was. That was a fun fight though, but they threw like 300, 400 strikes. They for heavyweights, they were throwing them things.
literally, and everybody, it was a split decision. I don't know how somebody could score 27-30, but it was a split decision. It was like I was like, this is even because this was supposed to be a very mid tier fight, but they came out banging.
But they said Arlovsky's done in the UFC because this was his final fight. He didn't. He's not re-signing, so he's gonna be probably, but he's not retiring either. So I wouldn't. Don't be shocked if you see him at like PFL, Bellator. Um, he just seems to be. I mean, was it 58 fights professionally, and he's just not hanging
It's
them up.
crazy.
That fuck it, we're just gonna keep going. It won't be with
That's
UFC.
insane. I respect it too, because like to be able to lose 24 times and continue fighting and win 34 times is insane. Like this is all you know. Like this is your like sport. Like I respect it. And shout
Yeah,
out to Boudier for winning.
yeah. And then I mean, he's walking out of the UFC into something else. Then we had karate hottie Michelle Waterson Gomez actually retiring after her loss to Gillian Robinson. And I think it was someone, was it Romeo? I think I saw him tweet live or something. He was just bitching about like, bro, why the fuck are they giving her so much credit? Like she ain't no champion. She ain't no nothing, but they like gave her such a big send off, I guess. I don't know, but he was hated.
I mean, I'm not gonna disagree with him. I just wouldn't have said it. I was just been like, oh, you got it.
I mean, it was a 30-27s and then a 30-26 on the board. She had about fucking 13 minutes of control time, a couple submission attempts. She had over 100 connected strikes, like 80% connected percentage. Like it was a one-sided one fight. Not the way you want to go out, but Gillian Robinson kind of low-key becoming slowly my favorite female fighter on the roster.
Bro, I love Gillian Robinson.
And then the young bantamweight came in, what was it, 19 seconds, perfect strike, 13 for 13, gets him up out of there, knocks him out. I mean, we try to hype him up as much as we could, but like he's showing you.
Yeah, I mean, him in the future championship talks are gonna be up until somebody can at least keep up with bro, because he got dude out of there. Like you was telling me, like when you told me that the first punch was all they needed. I was like, no way. And then I see this sneaky little leg kick, and after that, Jiggles 13 for 13 on significant strikes. Like what?
Fucking, he's making it look. The worst part is he talks so much shit because he was prior to this fight. He posted a YouTube video, translated it into French, spoke over, like did a French translation himself, so his opponent, who's French, can understand. And he sat there with like a ruler pointing to the screen and like, this is how you can beat me. This is how you do it. And he's translated a game plan for him to. This is my weaknesses. This is what you're supposed to do. This is how you beat me. Good luck. I hope you can knock me out. I'll see you this Saturday. And I translated like Jit funny for that. I like that.
That's pretty goated. I respect it. I mean, that's probably not going to be smart to do later in your career, but
Yeah,
right now that's hilarious.
it's building up that steam there. He's gonna cut out all that whenever he gets to the big leagues for real.
Oh yeah, until Jit gonna run into it because he's a featherweight, right?
Bantamweight.
Oh, bantamweight. Oh yeah, I like him to tear up Sean O'Malley.
Then we had Gene Silva with a nasty knockout over Charles Jourdain. I mean, Charles Jourdain's still our guy. But he got knocked down a couple times in this fight. This was the power difference definitely showed because like connectivity, skill wise, it was very kind of fair. But it was like Gene Silva was landing the heavier shots that were definitely more devastating, leading to the knockout.
Yeah, I tried to tell Romeo don't sleep on my French, don't sleep on my dog Gene Silva, boy. What's it called? He was like, yeah, man, nah, but no, fuck that. My dog Gene Silva came through, and the shit they called it a walk off KO, and I was like, that's so gangster because bro literally just hit him perfectly on the chin, like square, knocked him, took him straight out.
Knocked
Yeah,
him. It didn't turn out like when you don't do the extra hits and the ref stops it. That shit is so gangster to me. It's
so gangster.
perfect. That's what fighting.
Ref is like, yo, ref is like, yo, he is not waking up, bro. We're not even gonna play like he is.
And then we had a lot of people were saying controversial split decision win for Andre Fili. That a lot of people felt like Cub Swanson did enough to win the fight. And if you're looking at the numbers and everything, it's kind of like Cub. I mean, you could have made argument for either one. You had a little bit of more control time for Feely, but Cub was the one who definitely was had more damage going towards the judges. I can't say who was right, who was wrong, but I can tell you on paper, Andre Feely walked out with that dub.
Yeah, all I gotta say is, if I was a betting man, controversy don't mean shit to my pockets.
But
But I'm not a betting man, so I don't know. I mean, this wasn't like a. I was just in this fight when we picked this fight. I was just like, I just don't trust Clem Swanson, and like, I'm not gonna say he proved it. I'm just gonna say that like now I see why the judges don't trust him either. So even if it was controversial, Andre Philly got it. Like,
yeah, two
all right,
legends though.
cool. Yeah, two gangsters. I'd say just run it back. Like, I feel like there'd be nobody mad at watching that fight.
Wouldn't be mad, and they have nothing to win or lose. I mean, the fight was really good. It would do just as fine again. Neither one's
Facts.
going for a title fight soon.
Facts.
Then we had Joe Pfeiffer, nicknamed Body Bags, because he did exactly that. First round, put Marc-Andre Barrieu into a body bag. I mean, his hands are so fucking heavy, bro.
Poetan has a stone. Like he's the American Poetan. Now I'm playing. But Joe Pfeiffer, like we said, our introduction to Joe Pfeiffer was him literally putting somebody in a body bag in Miami. And he's done nothing but that since then. So like, how you sleeping on Joe Pfeiffer?
I'm not sleeping, bro. He's probably low key one of my more favorite middleweights to watch because he just kind of he brings it. He's not backing down because he knows he got heavy hair.
And that's a great way to close out the fucking prelims with that fight.
Yeah, and it opened us up for the main card with Ian Machado Gary. We tried to tell Romeo a decision win over Michael Page. He definitely did use the judo. He definitely did take him down. He leaned on towards that. Not as much on the feet striking as you would have thought you would have got for like what these two guys are. But I feel like this is showing maturity out of Ian Gary. Like you have a clear game plan to victory, follow that motherfucker. Like the W's and L's don't give a fuck if it was pretty ugly or if the fans liked it.
Yeah, I think his game plan was pretty phenomenal. And I would say like, even though he used like his whole entire arsenal, I still think he won the striking battles with Michael Venom Page. So like, and I think it's crazy that people are like kind of upset at the decision because I'm like, yo, bro, unanimous. And like, I agree.
Yeah. I had a 29-28 and like I could even argue 30-27, but I felt
Yeah, I had
like
to play with 27.
yeah, I could argue that. But 29-28, I feel like for sure. Like there was no way you felt like Michael Page won two or more rounds. Like that like I feel like you could be upset that Ian Gary won, and I feel like that's the boat Romeo probably is on. But
Mm-hmm.
that's just the way the cookie crumbles. And then he called out Shavkat Rakhmonov. Not in the octagon. Maybe he did do the octagon. I remember on Twitter he was saying it, and the Shavkat like responded. So like that's I mean he knows how to get the fights going.
Because I don't know. If you fight Shavkat, and if you can beat Shavkat, he might be next in line for a championship. I ain't gonna lie to you.
This is
Like
a
if you can beat Shavkat, you're him. Because I don't know why Shavkat just doesn't move up in the rankings. Like I don't know if it's the dudes he's fighting. I don't know what it is. But Shavkat's been sitting in the same exact spot since I started watching MMA.
he's
He
eight.
hasn't lost.
Yeah, but like Ian Gary so far in 3 years in the UFC, really just like 2.5. But within 3 years in the UFC, he's 8-0 with wins over Michael Page, Jeff Neal, Neil Magny, Daniel Rodriguez, Gabe Green, Song Keenan. Like these are solid wins, solid guys. 8-0 within a 2.5, 3 year span is kind of crazy. And he's can't say he's not fighting like tougher and tougher opposition every single week, or not week, but every single fight.
Facts. Yeah, I wouldn't say he's running through these dudes, but he's definitely letting be known that he's a force and presence in this octagon
Resume
against a lot of
looking,
fan favorites.
resume looking nice for a young
Facts.
buck.
Facts.
Then we had the Macy Chaseon TKO doctor stoppage over Myra Bruno Silva. It was a pretty good fight up to that. The doctor stoppage, I thought maybe I don't like a doctor stoppage, but then I see that her eyebrow post fight, like how fucked up it was, like needing stitching and shit. I was like, maybe the doctors do know what the fuck they talking about.
Hey man, sometimes you just gotta let the doctors do what the doctors do. I didn't see the fight, so I don't know if it was close beforehand, but sometimes you gotta let the doctors do what the doctors do.
Women's bantamweight is so ticky tacky, wishy washy about who's up, who's down. Then we had Roman Dolazzi unanimous decision win over Anthony Smith. That's completely put on the show. 29-28, even a 30-27 on the board. He took him down, controlled him on the feet, doubling the damage, doubling the strikes. Like Anthony Smith, he's a weird one to like pinpoint where he's at in his career. Like I definitely think he should be in the booth, but like he's still some. He kind of reminds me of like an NBA player that could still give you like 10-3, but then he might come out one night and give you like 20 and 25 for like a good spurt, and you're like, oh, maybe he still got it. Like, and nah, he still is that 10-3 guy all year. Like,
yeah. And the next game, Jit drops like 6. Like he's one of those dudes that he's very much his average. Like he averages himself out. Every time you think Anthony Smith is him, he usually fights into some type of opposition, and it's like, oh, never mind.
Yeah, and it was at his natural weight class, the light heavyweight. Like, not a good look for a middleweight coming up. We did say it was going to kind of help Roman, but still, it's not a good look at like your peers. Like, this guy moved up about 15, 20 pounds, fought me on my natural weight class, and like dominated me in all 3 levels.
Facts.
And you know it's almost time to give it up. It's just like NBA players. Like most of the time when you get to that older stage, like we just talked about, when you get to that presser and that interview, they asking about like, what are you doing after? Are you going into coaching? Are you going to go into the GM? Anthony Smith, are you guys going to be broadcasting soon? Like, no, what are you doing? Like,
it's funny as fuck that you say that because Kemba Walker just retired and Jit went straight to coaching.
Yeah, he did. Did the co-main event, we saw this shit shift, and we finally settled on Diego Lopes versus Dan Ige, where Dan Ige, I mean, tried his best to fill in late notice, but Diego Lopes is him. I mean, Diego Lopes so far, flying colors. His stand-up is just looking better and better.
Yeah, I believe it, bro. Like I've been preaching Diego Lopes since I seen his tattoo. I was like, bro, this chest tattoo is terrible, but this guy is him. Okay.
No, I
yeah.
That shit's terrible.
Terrible, kid. Terrible. And the cut is worse. But like just watching him grow in the UFC and like for the fact that he even took that Brian Ortega fight, like is insane. So like there's nothing but I don't know how you can't love Diego Lopes. Diego Lopes can go out there and get his shit wrecked. And I'm just gonna sit there like, wow. Definitely still one of my favorite fighters.
Taking a fight with the opponent shit changing up, then a different weight class a couple days prior, and then after a couple days prior weight class change, then it's a whole completely new opponent. Like that shit makes no sense for him to just take it still, and he took it and won unanimously.
That's a dude, kid. Like his stock is only going up and up in the UFC right now.
And then we
like was it because super quick. What like remember when he first came out and everybody just kept giving like his claim to fame was that's Alexa Grasso's jiu-jitsu coach. Now it's just like but we haven't heard it from Alexa Grasso forever while Diego Lopes is running the game.
But not only was it he's just a coach, was also like, look at this Brazilian Justin Bieber. Like they were memeing him before anything else.
Yeah.
It's like, oh, we're gonna clown him. And then I was like, now look at him. Now he's coming out in the suits. Now he's fucking on press conferences, co-main event, major cards, living lavish.
Oh yeah, I know he's a celebrity in Brazil right now.
And then our main event, the biggest celebrity in Brazil, Alex Potan Pereira, second round KO over Jiri Prochazka. This is a one-sided fight also. Like people aren't talking about that because of how nasty the KO was, but like that first round was pretty like showing of like, yeah, there's levels to this striking shit, and Jiri is not in the same level as Pierre.
Facts, and that's not even a knock on Jiri. I think the biggest thing about this fight was the fact that last time they fought, Jiri won the first round. like the way, because my biggest thing was I can't see anybody beating Alex in the light heavyweight right now just because of the amount of time he's spending to complete his game to become a full MMA fighter, a full established and with a toolbox and resume that can kind of with a toolbox that can go against anybody. And there's nobody in light heavyweight that's willing to do that right now. Like everybody has their strengths and they continue to fight with their strengths. Besides for Ankalaev, I don't really see anybody that gives fucking Alex a tough matchup because of just the way that he's completing himself as a fighter. And
Yeah,
Brett's 36 years old.
yeah, and he has all the kickboxing fucking fights behind his belt too. Like that's a lot of age and fighting game.
Facts. Like if you don't bring it, like he's at the point now, nobody doesn't even gives a fuck about the whole Izzy bar rivalry situation no more. It's like yo, this is Alex Poatan Pereira, and he's the number 2 fucking pound for pound fighter in the world right now.
But and the fact that he might be the guy that moves up to heavyweight. Like if he goes 3 weight classes, it'd be insane. I don't think he probably beats John Jones realistically. But in the moment of Saturday night, I was looking you dead in the face. I said he's knocking John Jones square on his ass. Like John Jones, he's catching the left hook. That's just the vibe. That's just the shit chama, bro. That's what that shit just gives off.
Chama. We don't even know what that means.
But and the nastiness, the highest level of striking, like the fact that they were on IG and see Projaka do his check left, like every time he checked the kick in the pre-fight walkout, he would bring his hands down a little bit. He did it every time. They took note of that. Literally changed the game plan for the fight as they're going out there to the octagon. Then whenever he throws that little left hook and he drops it, then he throws the head kick. Rest is history. Knockout right there. But he didn't. They literally see that on Instagram about 20 minutes before going to the octagon, watching Projaka sparring in his locker room.
Oh, that's crazy. I didn't even know that.
Him and his coach, bro, they are nasty, bro. That shit. His striking coach was talking about that. That literally is what happened. That's the head kick they threw was not in the game plan until they saw that Jiri. Every time he checks a leg kick into the before going out, he kept dropping his hands.
That's crazy. That's fine. That's some real strategic stuff right there. And that shows you because that shows you his whole team put together is what's making him like a phenomenal like person, like a phenomenal fighter, like somebody that's not really to be fucked with.
And yeah, Ankalaev, like you said, that's the only one at light heavyweight I think makes sense at this point. That would be a striking masterpiece. Watching those two go at it, that would be honestly be amazing. I don't think the heavyweight, yeah, the heavyweight fights sound fun with the Aspinall and John Jones, but that's not. I don't think is realistic. Those are the two fights I rather not see him go to because if he takes an L, it could be a bad L. And like one of those where he's already kind of old. He can't take a major loss to kind of bounce back no more. So that's the last thing we'll see.
If I wanted to see him and John Jones, I would want to see John Jones come down to light heavyweight, but that's not gonna happen.
No.
And then I'd respect it too. I'd be like, yo, John Jones is the GOAT. Not only did he go up, I'd start grazing shit like Dana does. Cause I feel like John Jones deserves all of his praise for sure. Because like just the shit that he does in the octagon, I don't think anybody can recreate. But like Fred will be downplaying other motherfucking great fighters just because of how great other dudes is. Like,
yeah. Pereira,
I respect it though.
They need to be praised too for like what the fuck they doing. Yeah.
Yeah, just give them their respect, kid. Like John Jones is the greatest fighter. Yes, we know this. Like in another world, John Jones would be a tyrant. Like in another time, John Jones would be a tyrant. But Alex Pereira is kind of running through your division, running through your UFC divisions, and this isn't his sport.
Yeah, he doesn't even need to shoot a takedown.
Still,
straight vibes, straight chama.
Straight chama.
But it was, great weekend of sports. We had boxing off the fucking cahoots. UFC was going bananas. Dana White promising something major in the future. He's saying like this is gonna be the biggest card ever. The amount of money they're gonna put into the Spear card and shit like that. Like he's hyping it up. He's saying like no other promotion would even do half of what they're gonna do just because financially it doesn't make sense. Like he's really hyping this bitch up.
Have they put a date on it yet?
They haven't put a date yet, but I'm telling you, he said normally all the UFC events they need one big semi truck. For the Sphere event, they're going to use 3 trucks for the amount of technology they're going to be doing in that card.
That's crazy. Damn, I low-key was sliding that bitch just because. I'm not even going to lie to you. If the tickets are less than 800, that might be the move. Because I seen the commercial, I seen the promotion that they did on the spear, and that shit was fine.
Yeah, like that shit. He's definitely setting himself up good because like this fight card was phenomenal over there, but he like he knows how to capitalize off of like good momentum. Like, I got good momentum.
Facts,
He dropped some fucking bombs on them boys, and that's what he did.
facts.
He gave us a good weekend of fights and then dropped those couple bombs. He's still teasing whatever the main event's gonna be and all that.
So we'll see. Wait, so they do have they we'll see. I can't wait for them. I'm gonna just wait for them. I'm not even gonna check the streets on that one. I just want to see what the announcement is. But before we go, I know you seen that boy Izzy and Drickus. They had their press conference.
Yeah, face off a little bit too.
That face off was crazy. Cause like I have no problem with Drickus as a fighter, but like, come on, bro, don't act like you didn't undermine these niggas for being you didn't undermine these niggas' African heritage. Just and then try to change it up with the words like I said nothing about that. I just said that I am the realest African. No, he'll say all I said was that I got my belt in South Africa. When I went after the fight, I went back to South Africa. Shut your bitch ass up, nigga. You know you try to make it seem like you're more African than these niggas, and none of us were going for that because you white, bitch. Like that's what that should be sounding
What
like.
is
And
his
then, you
name?
know me.
Hey, God is talking about him though.
Yeah, and I respect it, but like you knocking out Whitaker would have got me talking about you too. Like, you feel me?
Yeah, that was a nice stuff. Right? That was crazy. Right? That was a shift in the matrix.
Mm-hmm. And like your fight with Sean Strickland was crazy close. I think now that you're champion, you're gonna have a lot more confidence. And I like this to be a good fight. But Izzy doesn't give a fuck about that belt. Izzy's coming to kill you as a person. And that's the same energy he had when he fought Alex. Remember when they go walking around the dog chain and shit?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's the type of vibes that I'm expecting to see from Izzy. Because Izzy better come in. This nigga picked up golf in his time away. Like I'm expecting Izzy to come in and kill some shit.
I hope so, bro. I hope so. This guy was never the biggest DDP person, but he's kind of low key a little bit growing on me. And I need Izzy. If Izzy just goes back to what people liked him for, if he goes back to being that dude, that the style bender, I can hop back on the train. But if it's gonna be like a boring decision or some shit, I am gonna be a little upset if he wins that way. Like if you're talking about, like you said, he's not coming for the belt, he's coming to kill you. Like all this intensity, all this like I better not see you on the back foot, motherfucker. I better see you like bringing a little bit of something too. Like I'm not saying you have to walk forward the whole fight, but you better not be dancing and dancing and dancing and dancing. I want to see you bring that energy you brought Costa, bring the energy when you fought Whitaker the first time and shit. Like really knock some shit
That's when
out.
the shit. Yeah, I agree with that completely because I'm like like first off, I look at Jerkis's fighting style as a style that you can't even do the whole let's just stay on the back foot unless you only stay on the back foot because his fighting style is just so like out of like it's just
Fucking charging. Like and his chin is strong enough
facts.
where you can hit me. He's a Chad. He is a
And
Chad.
he's a big fucking dude. Like he's probably the second biggest I've seen in that division since Peloton. So I'm like, bro, this dude is like, you can't even do the whole little bitch shit. You gotta come in ready to fuck him up, and he's gonna try to fuck you up back.
Yeah. Or he's a giga Chad. He's the biggest version of Chad there is. Like fuck.
Yeah,
I'm
right.
picturing him. He's a big motherfucker. Like outside, yeah, he makes 185, but he's walking around. Like I'm picturing he's probably like near middle linebacker built. Like
Yeah,
he's
I'm thinking that Jip just walks around at like 205, 215.
yeah, they get kind of like Josh Allen right now walking around.
Yeah, bro's huge. And bro's fucking shoulders are this like he has shoulder pads on. Like this shit is crazy.
Yeah, Jit big.
So yeah, so I'll never diss Jickers as a fighter because I do think that his fight style is very phenomenal and it's probably top three in that division.
Oh,
But I need Izzy to come in and kill that motherfucker because my African heritage is screaming it.
yeah. But we gotta wait for that one. Like all the good things in life, you gotta wait. You gotta wait for it.
Fox. But if you keeping up every week with MMA, you know that Dana Hunter and them are keeping us eating at all times.
Got us eating. Like they had us eating this last weekend. UFC 303 had us eating. We're gonna be taking a little break off these next. A couple weeks. We got like Rose fight coming up. Fill in. Tracy Cortez is out of that fight, I believe.
My bad, y'all. I gave her some back shots and she ain't been the
Or
same
is
since.
she the one filling in? Is she's either filling in or she pulled out? Oh, she's the one
My
that's
brother.
filling in.
Oh, okay, my bad.
I can't remember
He
who.
must be fine.
Someone popped out the Macy Barber. I think that was supposed to
Oh,
originally because I get those two mixed up.
boo, boo. I have no problem with Macy Barber, but boo, Tracy
That'll probably
Cortez.
be but then yeah, we really won't be eating again until Leon Edwards versus Balil.
That's in July.
End of July, yeah.
Yeah, let's go. I would like that to be a good fight. But I just want that. I just want that bitch to finally get over this.
Yeah. Well, we definitely didn't give us any good cards other than that and the 303 for July because the next two cards are gonna be kind of stinkers, low key.
Yeah,
But we
bro, I thought you was a big Thug Rose.
no, oh yeah, the hugest. But we appreciate y'all watching. We gotta get up out of here. We're gonna be back next week with some recaps, not recap with some picks. As always, we appreciate you watching UFC 303 breakdown, recap, whatever you want to call it. I'm Paul. Pick 'em with him. I'm joined with Kevin, Waterboy support. And if y'all didn't know, now y'all know, motherfuckers.